How does tinnitus affect sleep and what can I do about it? So I'm Joey Remenyi from seekingbalance.com.au, and I like this question. It's important, it's practical, and ironically, when we can't sleep and we're exhausted and we may get caught up in insomnia cycles, it tends to exacerbate the tinnitus itself. So there's a bit of a link. And being rested and well slept can really be the medicine that helps the tinnitus itself calm down a little and recuperate or recover, come back into silence. So we need to understand what to do about it. And while we are all different, and there's never going to be a cookie cutter prescription that is a one-stop shop for everyone, I do really believe in the power of body scanning, which is coming back into our proprioception, which is our felt sense. You can think about it as skin, feeling, if we're laying down in bed, feeling the pillow, feeling the doona, the covers, the pajamas, the clothing, like literally feeling into the body head to toe, and practicing that skill of building those control over your attention or concentration. So shifting awareness away from the sound of the auditory cortex and into the proprioceptive markers all along the body. Proprioception is such an incredible sense, part of our inner world and inner experience. And the more we can harness that and turn the volume up, so to speak, on the touch system, the more it overrides actually the sound signals. So it's almost like it's difficult to really hear the tinnitus and focus on it when we're fully immersed in touch and sensation and feeling. So building that skill set takes time. Please don't be disillusioned if you feel like it quote unquote doesn't work. The point of body scanning in bed is really to train ourselves to be in the body, to recover into the body. A lot of our tinnitus sounds are literally between the ears, not only physically and physiologically, but also emotionally. And between the ears and the midbrain is when we get caught in those trauma cycles, which are unhelpful, and they perpetuate the sounds. So we end up in fight, flight, freeze, fawn. We fight what we're hearing, we shame ourselves, we tell ourselves we shouldn't be hearing it, we can feel helpless, hopeless, powerless. We can try and run away from ourselves or numb ourselves or over medicate. So we end up in all of these unhelpful loops, patterns, and it's understandable. It's not your fault. We've all been there. But when we shift out of the head zone and out of the thinking and the problems and the fixing, we actually shift down into the body and the sensing and feeling, into our sensuality, into our felt sense, into the reality that I'm resting my head on the pillow. I know that my shoulders are rested into the bed, my pelvis, my legs. You can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. You can even practice a little bit of self-touch and self-massage to really activate that proprioceptive system in your body and to train your awareness and your brain to amplify those feelings of comfort, of relaxation, of being held by the bed, of being warm in your bed. And as you can move more into those feelings of pleasure and joy and rest, you will shift what's going on actually up in the brain. And that's where the neuroplasticity comes in. The more we're not focused on the symptom itself as a quote unquote problem, and the more we can enter our body and our sensory landscape to be with felt sense as it is in a way that essentially says yes and welcome. I'm here. I'm willing to feel all of this. We open up, we shift our nervous system into connection, into feeling more pleasure, feeling more desire. There is a sensuality, a yumminess, and we step into the mystery. We're no longer trying to solve a problem and be outcome focused. We're really stepping into more of a flow state and a way of being with what is. I want to also say, when you're in a body scan, horizontal, feeling what you feel with that sense of yes and the willingness to be there, it is as good as sleep. So you do not need to fall asleep. And in my community of Rocksteady clients, there's a lot of comfort in that we can be through cycles of insomnia or difficulty sleeping and really lean on our body scanning, coming into the body and gaining the rest that we need. So we actually can move through the night with perhaps very little sleep, but lots and lots of genuine rest and connection to the body. My last little tip would be, if you've got a very busy mind and the tinnitus is really loud and you can't sleep, there's no harm in actually getting up, walking around, perhaps having a hot drink, going to the toilet. You might want to write down if you have any ideas or worries or projects or tasks that are very much circling. It's a great idea to just write them down, get them out of your head, and then attempt going back to bed. I will do that quite often. And another one is sometimes when I cannot sleep and my body is agitated and I can feel all of my neural maps and neural networks are really alive and active and stimulated. It's like there's a lot of energy in my body. There's a lot of content or even warm data that wants to come out. So even if it's 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., I'll get up and I'll write a poem or I'll journal and I'll move that creatively through my body and out of my body and then go back to bed. Um, or meditate or do some yoga, but I'm physically moving it. So I think that's another very, very important part of recovery of tinnitus and recuperating our sleep patterns is if you have a lot of unused neural tension, so tension patterns stored in your body, find ways to creatively move that out of your body. And there is no limit to how you creatively express yourself. You're doing it for yourself to literally discharge the tension that your body's holding onto. So you may want to incorporate in your daily life, especially before bed, going for a walk or a run or, creatively cooking or, writing, painting, singing, dancing. You can be silly, you can be playful, but just really moving the body, getting out of the head and allowing some of that tension to discharge from the body. Trilling, humming, singing, shaking, random crazy dancing. These are all nice, quick, easy ways to get the body moving. And just notice how you feel before and after, and notice if it impacts how you can possibly get to sleep more readily. So that's a few things for you to try at home. To learn more, visit seekingbalance.com.au. I'm Joey Remenyi. I host a community where we all go through this together and we navigate how we each tackle our very unique circumstances. And the Rocksteady community is very welcoming, very supportive. Come and join us if you're interested and if you're seeking that level of holistic support. Returning to wholeness is what it's all about, to be that better version of ourselves, that while the tinnitus and the sleep is an absolute nightmare when we're in it, once we gain the skills to move through it, to understand it, and to become that next version of ourselves, many of my clients will say, actually, you know what? That was hard, but that was a gift. Now that I'm through the other side of it, I feel a lot more resilient. I've got the toolkit, and I know that if and when it happens again, I can move through it more gracefully. So there really can be a gift in the darkness. And that's what we talk about, and that's what we support each other through. So Rocksteady is part of my seekingbalance.com.au community. Come and check it out. And it's a bye for now.